Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day. Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hi. Simply hi. Joe Dog. I know better. I have not.
Oh, how's everybody doing?
Getting by.
Much better after that shot.
Staying out of the storm.
We're sort of watching it here.
We're in a lull here right now.
Checking the weather radar, it looks like it's just about to hit Nashville.
Well, I haven't seen the temperature drop here any since dark.
But the winds are howling out there, notice, but I think it's the winds.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to get 50-mile-an-hour gusts, so that brings white out and
I hope Gus brings his own damn beer.
All kinds of wonderful drifting. Yep.
Oh, well, I've got tomorrow at work, and then I get paid over the weekend because it is a holiday. But I don't have to get up with an alarm clock. Thank God.
Tomorrow? You
No,
do have to
no,
work tomorrow, or you don't have?
I do have to work tomorrow. I don't work Saturday and Sunday, but because it is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, I get 8 hours pay as a holiday grant.
You
I mean,
better.
it's in the contract.
They sent
Um,
folks home from this firm probably around 1 o'clock this afternoon, Central, and then everyone's supposed to be work from home tomorrow. Doesn't affect me because I'm 90% work from home, come in a couple times a month. And then they finally granted my vacation request that was supposed to be okayed back in early November. They finally put it on the calendar because I thought, okay, they didn't approve it. So I'm like, I'm going to work them. And then early in the week, I looked and I'm like, okay, they finally put it on the calendar. So next week, I have to report on Friday. But again, remotely.
Oh. Well, I don't have to work Monday, though, because I had one more vacation day left. And it was either sell it and get basically a 6-day check for New Year's week, or take the day off because my wife is British and Boxing Day is very important to her for some reason. So I took the day off.
So fisticuffs will ensue?
Fisticuffs wouldn't have been sued anyway, but I probably would have got something frozen for lunch rather than the home cooked stuff she's been giving me this week. So,
No, I'm just joking with Boxing Day because I've never really understood what it was, except it's like a major day for returns in the UK or something like that.
exactly, you put stuff you need to exchange because it's the wrong size, or I hate this. Give me the receipt. You put it back in the box and you take it to the store. Then you come home. You watch tomorrow the King Charles III's first speech. Be the first time he took over his mom's holiday duty. So that's going to be very emotional for anybody of British extraction.
And I thought that ran on Christmas Day.
It might.
Yeah. But
know.
it's already been shot. He shot it last week.
Yeah. Ain't no telling what in jokes that they snuck into it, because Elizabeth was prone to display her sense of humor at times.
Oh, Carl's saying he has to go to work tomorrow night, but that's different. He said the work's getting up from under the desk.
Okay.
I see he would have to work at doing that. Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching something ad for some computer desk for people working from home, and it has a hammock underneath it. And I'm going, damn. Now, why didn't they have that when we were doing the virtual convention?
I don't know.
Because I mean, that hammock would have been better than sleeping in the dang floor, waking up every 2 hours to make sure everything's still running.
They've had those for years. They've had those since I was still on help desk, and I've been off help desk for over 10 years.
I imagine a good lazy boy would beat a hammock any day. You just go ahead, push your chair back, kick up the footrest, go on back.
Hammocks are easier to hide in the office, though.
Why would I want to hide anything in the office?
So, okay. For help desk nerds and network admins and stuff like that sometimes had to do long shifts or overnights or something like that. They had these kind of things that you could use, and then you can hide it when the bosses are coming through.
Sorry.
I'm thinking of the episode of Seinfeld where George has Seinfeld's contractor build him the special desk with the hideaway shelf and the alarm clock and all that underneath the desk.
We're already 10 minutes in, and either YouTube started over again or it's way lagged. I think YouTube started over again with the opening credits. And I'm watching YouTube on the iPad because that's the best way I can comment in the chats without having every destination that Joe Dog has the channel broadcasting to.
I'm still seeing it with that about 20 seconds, 20-second lag. That fireball is kicking my ass more than I thought it would. Holy shit.
I've got an 11-minute
Michaela.
lag, obviously. Oh. No, it's I could see us before, and now I'm seeing us again. It's got a way lag.
I didn't.
It's like a jet lag.
Ain't no jet flies this damn slow.
And I apologize if I sound a little weird. The flu has gone through the Aspen household yet again, so it's finally made its way to my chest. So my voice is actually sounding really weird to me. It's sounding about 2 octaves deeper than I normally talk. At least to me it does. And if I start hacking, I'm going to mute myself. So if I suddenly mute myself and look like I'm choking, you know why.
If you turn blue in the face, should we call 911 or?
If I turn blue in the face, hopefully Misty will call 911. She's in the other room.
Yeah, really.
At the very least, call 911 so Gargamel doesn't come after you.
Although I do luck out. The fire station with an ambulance is literally 45 seconds away from the house. Well,
It'll take them 8 minutes to get there.
The apartment. With weather like this, they probably have someone sitting at the station in case stuff is happening.
There's a fire station right next to the property where the factory I work is. And when something catches fire at our factory, the either the plant manager, if it's during day shift, or the shift supervisor, if it's night shift, has to call them and say, this is real, come on. Or, hey, it's something, we don't know what this alarm is for. We can't find a fire anywhere. Y'all sit tight. We'll give you a holler if we find something actually steaming.
Well, ours is.
Well, my ambulance is right across the street from my place, and the fire department is about 3 blocks away.
The last time we actually had a fire. Oh, go right ahead, Joe.
He's in my neighborhood. The fire station's right at the bottom of the hill from us, and it's still 8 minutes from time you call 911 till they roll up.
It's a steep hill.
Yeah, from the time you place the call, because then they've got to dispatch. They've actually got to get in gear, get in the vehicle, and get over. But because sitting around in your turnout gear is miserable.
Yeah.
And if you occasionally hear a big roar go by here, that's going to be one of our salt trucks going down the road.
It looked like they had salted the roads here a couple of days ago. Wasn't like that when I went to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, but by the time I left at 3:30 in the afternoon, I could see the roads were, or at least the highway was majorly discolored, and it looked like dried salt. And I'm going, maybe they're getting ready for some bad weather. watched the Weather Channel and realized it's time to do something. I don't
Hi,
know.
Michaela.
Well, the thing about it here is that we're with the wind chills, we're going to be in double digits below zero, and all the salt in the world will not help one bit. Thankfully, there wasn't a heavy, steady rain before our temperatures dropped. This morning, when I got up, it was about 36 degrees, and in about 2.5 hours, it dropped down to 17.
Yeah, pure salt won't help.
So,
Salt and sand mixture will help because then you can still get that little melty and then get the grit. But it'll freeze over real freaking quick, which is why you need the sand with it to grit the ice.
Well, that's the thing. In Georgia, it's like they don't need that equipment but once every 10 years, if that. So they can't afford to keep it in stock.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing we've got for dealing with snow is road graders for
We've
what
got
they
a
normally
South
use
Carolina
on dirt
office, and
roads.
they're in the same boat. Whenever winter weather actually hits them, they are completely screwed. DC is at least a little prepared, but the other two offices that are affected are Chicago and New York, and we're already ready. We're always ready for that type of stuff. So,
Well, that's why when there's an extreme snow event, people make fun of Atlanta because they're not going to keep anything prepared, not for 10 years at a time, just waiting on it. So when it does happen, they have to wing it.
well, I think a lot of it involves costs on keeping, well, not so much keeping vehicles kept up because you use vehicles for other things as well, but just the inventory on the salt and the sand and road pack, what have you. If it's not being utilized for other reasons,
Somebody's
they're
still paying taxes on it. Yeah.
well, and you can't
keep running.
You can't keep it in a yearly budget. You can't justify it.
it's all risk management.
So-
You got to go. Likely this year, how's everything going to be? Which is why they need to pay attention to. Okay, is this an El Nino? Is this an El Nina? Is this what did the polar vortexes look like last year? Do the projections show that it's going to be as bad or worse? And I mean, it is the craziest set of craps that you'll ever play.
Basically, down here, they go, okay, we can use dump trucks all the time. We'll keep plenty of dump trucks.
And we've got two fairly good experts in our chat, Joe Bachman, former plow driver, and Josh Kempen, he runs his weather channel. So, I mean...
Yep. And like I said, if they need snow plows, they don't have dedicated snow plow trucks. They have road graders, which is used in road construction or in rural areas for maintaining the dirt roads. Scrape them down to where you can find the gravel again under the mud that's been deposited for the last 10 years. But those things are pretty good. I mean, they got a little bit more power than Daddy's big tractor with a turbocharger on it. So anything that's got more than 90 horsepower in a piece of farm equipment is fun. So I can imagine what a road grader is.
Yeah. Oh, Josh, we did not get a lot of snow. They forecasted 2 to 6 inches, and I'm not sure what we got yet as far as any verified amounts, but it wasn't so much how much snow we're getting is because of the high winds how much it's going to blow and drift. And we've already gotten whiteout conditions earlier this evening. So with that and double-digit sub-zero temperatures, it's a winter wonderland.
Mm-hmm. Rolling averages, Joe Bachman. Yes, yes. I've had to deal with somebody decided the best way to figure a rolling average was to take the present date and average that with the next 10 days that you're going to enter on the spreadsheet. And I'm going, that's not going to work until you get those 10 days entered. How about if you go backwards? So I rewrote the equation and have it going backwards on my spreadsheets. Yeah, I know.
As a support guy, I feel you there.
I'm dealing with accountants and college kids.
Well, why don't you compute it this way? Because that information is not available yet, so we're not going to see what the real difference is for 5 days. But you won't see that information unless you look 5 days back at today's date.
Uh-huh. Yep. So I've got it, and the only problem is that I re-up my spreadsheet for each year, because if you make them only a year long instead of 10 years, they run faster.
And they will die quickly if you continue using the same one year after year after year.
I know.
And
I know.
Even if you go with a new tab, you can only go up to, 99 tabs?
I don't have the faintest idea. The most I've had for my safety checks, for my quality checks, I had a spreadsheet with 52 tabs and 5 databases and some other shit. I don't even remember, but yeah, it was complicated, and my supervisor at the time says, I can't pay to have this all ISO certified. Pick the 6 or 7 most important ones and we'll get them official. So I did. Instead of having everything on one slow spreadsheet, now I've got a bunch of little fast ones.
Dan, I'm getting one of them damn crazy headaches.
Oh, I thought I was boring you to tears.
No,
I'm sorry.
it's that one that starts in behind your eyeball. Feels like your eyeball's going to pop out of your head.
That's a
Sinus
migraine.
or stress. Could be a migraine too.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the cold front about to come through.
I could
Sinus.
actually make a very in poor taste sort of oh good God, how's this? I have actually got sound on the iPad and it's all turned off. Anyway, if you've ever seen Blake 7, there's a good riposte to anybody that has a headache if you don't like them very much. And I like you, so I'm not going to say that.
If it starts clearing up, I'll be back. But right now, I can't even see out of my left eye.
I would very much suggest a warm compress.
All right. We'll holler at y'all later, guys. I'm sorry.
Feel better,
It's
brother.
all right. It's all right. It's probably weather related.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, if it's barometric pressure, it's probably sinus, and a warm compress will probably help that.
All right.
Maybe a decongestant too might help clear any decongestion that might be, or any congestion that's up there that might be causing the backup.
Oh, I can breathe clear. I mean,
just because you can breathe doesn't mean that your upper sinuses are unclogged.
Yeah. All right. We'll holler at y'all later.
Feel better, man. Wow, I was checking something else out. Did we offend Bill?
No. the replay has got Bill still here on. I'm going to have to.
I'm live on the replay. Well, I'm the 26-second delay.
Yeah. I'm going to go to settings and Bluetooth and disconnect. All right. Well, it don't want me to do that, so I'll just turn power off to the blasted speaker. That did it.
Yeah, the weather being crappy, it might have taken out Bill's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
That's what happened. I actually muted my mic and turned my camera off to go use the facilities, and then when I came back, I had nothing. But now I got something. My neighbor gave me that today.
Out of revenge?
And yeah, well, I mean, my God, it's cute. Come on now. And it jingles. Okay, I was wondering when it was going to shut off. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
No, it just. And speaking of that, I will be airing A Charlie Brown Christmas, uncut, commercial-free, in its entirety on Christmas Day, because you always save the best for last, you know.
Charlie Brown, before you made
I've been airing.
Jump to Judaism. Oh, sorry, one kind of uncut.
Yeah. Uncut, not because he's Jewish, because he's not.
Damn, Bill.
Charlie Brown, Garfield, yeah, we're just kind of rolling on by that one.
And we have a special guest just popped in. Hello, Stephanie.
Hey, guys.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I've got words for you, young lady.
Oh,
Stop making me cry in those damn books.
Ain't gonna happen.
okay.
Ain't gonna happen.
What did I do now?
And
It was Trojan Horse.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, not Trojan Horse. My apologies. The one before that. I'm on Trojan Horse now.
Tour de Force.
Tour de Force.
Okay.
Yeah, Tour de Force.
Okay, well, I just
I
put
was
out-
weeping like a little bitch.
Oh, okay. Thank
I
you.
loved it, but I was weeping
Okay.
like a little bitch.
Okay.
That's all you can say. Thank you. Wait till you read this one.
I actually, one of the reasons why I wanted to come on was because I have a new book out today. It's a short ebook. It's called The Gingerbread Cat, and it's a Christmas story. And let me see if I can share it. Share the cover. No, that's not what I wanted. Where the heck is...
Oh, Lord. Guess who's here finally?
Hey, John.
Sorry, I'm late. I was pig wrangling.
How the heck do I share the... It doesn't have the same...
It's present now.
It's
Present.
in present?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
If
they
you want to-
changed
There it
that.
is. Okay, yeah. No wonder I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it drives me nuts too.
Ugh.
Okay, tab,
They'll quit
I'm used to it
tweaking
from
the
Zoom,
stuff.
so
window. Come on.
They will quit
come
tweaking
on.
stuff.
you mean you're not
eventually.
going to read it to us, Steph? Come on now.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to find a flipping... they've changed it. So I'm
Flipper?
kind of an-
Click present, and then
Yeah.
you choose what you want to throw up there. Either it's a Microsoft window or tab.
Oh,
or
there
whatever.
we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, your browser tab or whatever it is.
Pictures.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll let you do all sorts of stuff. Just
It just takes a while to figure it out.
all right. What do we do? There we go. The gingerbread cat.
Oh, how cute.
So, yeah, I like it. And the story is well, let me see here. I have to find all of the. I need to stop sharing, don't I?
No.
Stop sharing.
Who-
Um.
Who did the artwork for it? That's
Tiffany Gray did the artwork.
Oh, I
And-
remember you talking about her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
cool.
And she kind of has gotten the hang of Daryl's style, so I'm pretty happy with that. So, the blurb reads as follows: Santa's cat, the gingerbread cat, has been around as long as Santa and knows a few things. A magical cat, he's one of Santa's oldest and most important helpers. So when Ginger tells the elves a story about one Nikolai Christophson and his involvement with the Magi at the first Christmas, there's more in the story than meets the eye. How did Christophson find the anointed child? What is his relationship to Santa? And how did the gingerbread cat help?
Sounds like fun.
It is fun. I had a lot of fun writing it, and if I can frickin' get the, I haven't gotten the link onto my website yet, so I'm having to do this the hard way from my Facebook account.
So that's on KDP.
It is.
All right. I'll be bringing my Kindle home tomorrow.
Okay.
It's at work right now.
Yeah, you got to bring it home.
I do every weekend. It's too much to tote this thing back and forth to work every day. I've already got a lunch bag as big as a Volkswagen van, so I can't help it if my wife's a good cook.
And I'm gonna put the link for y'all up in the. Well, that's not. That's. I hate it when Facebook adds all this crap to it. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, here it is. I can never figure out where it's supposed to get truncated at.
There we go. There's a link.
Okay, it popped up. Yep.
Okay. So right now it's available on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, and later on I'll put it up for Nook. And it's the way the story developed. This thing is going to wind up being a series of shorts, and then eventually I'm going to wind up collating those all into a print anthology. So. So if
yeah,
what are we trying to do?
Trying to figure out
Where it breaks?
No, the blasted thing here. I went into Messenger and it wouldn't open in a new tab. So, and I had to remember that if I click on it, it will open a new tab in my browser. So that is done. Let's see if I can get this. And do-da-da-dee-da-da. And there we go.
Get your bottle opener and you can open up Tab or Coke or whatever you want.
And
put it on my tab. I can't give you a tab until you order something. Just
there
give me
you
a
go.
Pepsi free. If I give you a Pepsi, you're going to pay for it.
I remember that well. There you go,
Yes.
folks. That's the page.
What about a Coke Zero?
That wasn't out when they filmed Back to the Future 2.
Okay.
No, Back to the Future 1.
And we are
And Carl, thank you. It is good to be writing again. So, oh, somebody's got a kitty.
Yes,
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Barry Allen.
Hi there.
the
Somebody's named for
fastest
the
cat
Flash.
alive.
Yes, he was the fastest kitten alive. We've had him literally since conception. We had his mother and his father. We put a banana box under the coffee table in the living room. And we planned to move the kittens into the box after Mama had them. But Mama loved me, so she always loved, resting on me and stuff like that. So we took one of my old shirts, put it in the box to make sure that when we moved the kittens in there, that Mama would be fine with staying in there. We lucked out. Mama decided to have them in the box. No need to move them whatsoever. At the end of the night, we'd count up all the kittens, make sure that they're all in the box, walk down to the opposite end of the house, hall light on, stark white hallway. We would see a gray and black cat following us down the hall. There was no furniture for it to hide behind. So we saw that he did not follow us. We'd open the bedroom door, flip on the light. He was on the bed like, what took you so long? So we decided to name him for the Flash.
Because there's not a comic book hero that teleports. Well, there's one.
Well, there is.
Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remembered him
Yeah.
just as I said that. Yeah.
Actually, there's a couple of teleporters, but Kurt Wagner is the one that sticks out the
Yeah.
best.
Well, he's one of the good guys.
Yeah. And then we also had one that looked almost just like him that he fought with all the time that we decided to name Leonard Snark for Captain Cold. We called him Leo for short.
One year.
Superman's pain in the butt, the one that you can't pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
And I bet every one of you will have a different pronunciation of it.
Mixoplex.
That's pretty close.
Mixoplitilic.
Yeah. But when quite some years back, Daryl worked with my mom to make a Banff doll for me for Christmas. So it's up on the display ledge of over the bedroom door.
I actually would like to have a Lockheed the mini dragon.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want one
I'm
that is a
surprised that
stuffed
wasn't-
animal. I want the real thing.
I'm surprised that wasn't this year's toy.
You're surprised what?
That was not this year's toy because they came out with the New Mutants movie,
Ah, okay.
and there
How
was
did I miss
there
that?
was a dragon plushie of Lockheed in it. So,
Oh. Yeah.
Now, when Dan said mini dragon, that put me to mind of the mini dragons that you could make with the creepy crawler machine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember those.
You had to actually fit them all together. So you had the body, and I think you had to fit the body with the head, and you had to fit the wings and maybe the arms, legs on, or something like that. It's been a long time since.
The old thing maker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thing
The old
maker.
thing maker. Yeah.
Wasn't it Mattel that did
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That
it was.
was the
And then
most
they put out a
dangerous
candy version of
toy
it.
for a kid. I mean, you know,
I
you
burned my
burn
fingers
yourself.
many times, but
Oh,
I
my
got
God.
really good. I got really good at making fishing lures for my dad. Yeah, I had the bug molds and the worm molds. Just drop a fishing hook in there and pour in the stuff and cook it, and instant fishing lure.
Me and my friend, when we were in grade school, we used to make mini dragons. We both had thing makers, and we made mini dragons and creepy crawlers and something else, I forget. But the mini dragons we sold for 75 cents a piece, which back then was a lot of money. And we would sell 8 or 10 of them a day. And well, of course,
Did he
get
freeze?
more
There we go.
bottles of the dragons.
I had also
Mhm.
had a mold that made the Green Army men with
Oh,
helmets and
Mm.
stuff, and you could drop wires in there,
so
and then
they were
pour
bendable.
and then they were bendable.
Sorry, I skipped a couple of steps.
It's all right.
Oh, I'm good at ruining something.
No, it's all right. That was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid. It was a Christmas toy, Christmas present from Santa, and I had so much fun with that for so many years, and then I wound up running out of the goop,
Oh yeah.
the plastic
Mhm.
goop, and then I couldn't make anything else.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, Daddy would tell me, "Why don't you try this combination of colors on this particular bug or worm?" And so I would.
Hmm.
The way they're coming back with all the old toys again, having repops of them and that, and of course the way Legos have taken off. But I'm surprised that they don't bring back the Thing Maker, and
Well,
that would seem to go over big.
like you said, it would be so easy for a kid. I mean, I used to burn my fingers all the time on
Oh
those
yeah,
things.
yeah, definitely.
So I
That
don't,
it's
and they went from the ovens, the easy bake oven things, to something that was really, really so watered down that it almost can't be called the same thing when they
yeah.
reproduce those.
Well,
I can't see
wasn't the
them
easy
bringing the thing maker out again.
wasn't the Easy Bake Oven just a light bulb?
It
Yes.
was, but then they cut it back. It used to be a full size light bulb
Mhm.
of some considerable wattage, and then
I think it took a 100-watt light bulb, if I
yeah,
remember correctly.
and
Yep.
then
And
they
then they
and
cut
then
it back
they
to about a 40.
and then they kept cutting it back, I think, and so it really didn't bake anything to speak
Yep.
of.
If they
So
brought it out today, it'd
That
probably
would sound
be
more
a
dangerous.
LED light that doesn't hit hot if you leave it on for
Yeah.
years.
yeah,
Try one of my salmonella chocolate cakes that I made in my Easy Bake Oven
yeah.
because the light bulb wasn't a big enough wattage.
Mm.
I had one of
Uh,
those
Well, all
too.
things come and go. They had
Yeah,
now with
Carl
commercials
has a
for
point.
what's
Carl
that?
has got a point. He says I can see the lawsuits for a thing maker. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Well, no, Carl, back then, the
Well, and
classic advertisements even said, with parental guidance,
Yeah,
get mom and dad to help you. That's the loophole
I
to get
didn't.
out of the lawsuits.
I
the
didn't.
strange change machine that was my first introduction to plastic with a memory.
I don't remember that.
Basically, you had little blocks of plastic, sort of like a jumbo sized what is the candy? Anyway, it's about 2 inches square and about a quarter inch thick. You put it in the thing, close the door, plug it up. Didn't have an off switch. It was just a hot plate, basically. And the little toy figurine would unfold. And you get it out, let it cool off, play with it, put it back in, get it hot. And the other half of the machine was a press where you just stuff the thing down in
It squished it
basically
flat again.
and squished it flat. And then
Mhm.
you could heat it back up and it would come right back to what it was supposed to be. Uh,
That
I
sounds
took
neat.
I took one of the green army men and heated it up till it was soft and picked it up with the little plastic tongs and put it in there and crushed it back and it was always a brick after that. Wrong kind of plastic.
Yep.
Hey, it was a learning experience.
Of
Don,
course.
Donna, I got to disagree with you. Warnings do mean a damn thing, because if they didn't, they wouldn't still be able to sell cigarettes today, and alcohol and many other things. As long as they put that little thing on the side of the package or on the bottle or all this stuff, they're good to go. And that's why they still sell it. That's why you still have cigarettes, despite how horrible they are, how they kill people and killed my dad.
Vintage Mattel Fright Factory.
It's still allowed.
1966, $70 eBay.
Yep.
Oh wow!
What was that,
Factory.
Rich?
Vintage Mattel Fright Factory Maker Pack, 1966, pre-owned, $70 or best offer, eBay.
And then there was the one that it came with edible plastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mattel thing made
And it still tasted like plastic.
Funflower and Creeple People pack. All together, three things, $249.95 eBay.
Yeah, I think, I don't believe it was me that had the one with the edible plastic thing maker or whatever that particular device was called, but somebody in my family did.
Creepy Crawlers, that was the only one they really had in the 80s. Actually, no, I take that back. They did have the rubber one for very, very early, but they moved to the candy because I guess too many kids were just putting the crap in their mouth.
Well, this would have been probably early 70s because I was still kind of small. I wasn't high school age yet. Might have been late 60s. I'm not sure. When all of this was.
I think it was late 60s.
It's been a long time ago come Choctaw, yes. Oh, God, you can tell I've watched Johnny Carson too many times. But, yes, you're right. The
1964 was when they first came out.
Yeah.
Yep. And the edible version the candy did taste like plastic. Evidently, if they put enough sugar in it to actually have a flavor, it would have started a fire or something. I'm sure there was a safety reason. Or you'd have had to pay $500 for one for the goop to go in it. I don't know. Those were the days, my friend. We had the most interesting toys. And I'm including.
So what was everybody's favorite toy growing up?
Engine.
That you got for Christmas, I guess, since it is Christmas season.
What was that?
I said, well, what was your favorite toy that you got on Christmas morning when you were a kid? Maybe you still wish you would have had it today, but for the same reasons that Rich is finding out on eBay.
Well, in my family, we did all our gift exchanges on Christmas Eve, and Santa brought stuff on Christmas Day. But I would have to go with the complete set of the Universal Monster line of, I think it was Mego dolls, the 12-inch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Mego.
Oh, Mego, yeah.
I think it was
8-inch.
But it was Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, and Mummy.
Mummy, yeah.
Oh, and Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Were those the glow-in-the-dark ones?
Yes, my mom bought me the entire set for Christmas one year.
I don't know. I believe
werewolf.
I believe mine was the bicycle, because I put
What kind?
it was a spider with the extra long handlebars and everything, and extended out front wheel and all this, and 3-speed. And I put I didn't put miles on that thing. I put light years on that bicycle.
Now, the handlebars on that, Dan, were they wider or did they come up more straight and narrow?
They were a little bit wider. They were basically it was like one of the motorcycles off of Easy Rider. Couldn't
Chopper
tell you
style
which
bike.
Okay,
one.
because
Had the butterfly, had the banana seat and the butterfly
banana seat,
handlebars and 3 speed and
yeah,
only
sissy
time I
bar in the back.
yep, yep, real tall one too. Only time I got scared was riding past one part of the neighborhood. Somebody's 15, 16-year-old bulldog, big bulldog, would run out and bite the back tire and go around 2 or 3 times before it let go.
Mhm.
And I'm going,
Now, the reason why I ask about the handlebars on your bike, Dan, is when Schwinn, when they came out with the orange crates and the lemon crates and all those special Schwinn Stingrays, which I didn't have any of the crates, but I had the red deluxe Stingray, and it had the narrower handlebars. And they eventually did away with those because when the kids got into wrecks with them, it caused more damage. The wider handlebars
we go past your
that
shoulders
were
instead of through your chest.
you could go over or through it with less injury than the ones that were narrower. And we
I've done
love the
that a time or two.
narrower. Yeah, we love the narrower handlebars because it did remind you of something from Easy Rider or whatever. But also, if we were going to go play basketball at the schoolyard, you can just put your basketball right down in between them and you wouldn't have to hold on to it and steer with one hand. You know, you had it held in the middle of the handlebars. You couldn't do that with the wide ones.
That would explain why I never knew that, because I was not, aside from dodgeball, I was not athletic at all.
Me too, neither.
I
At
was
least
basically
I didn't think I was.
I was basically Barry Allen at dodgeball.
Hmm.
I was damn near untouchable. But so
We lost Rich.
he'll be back.
I think I remember a bunch of different. I would be hard pressed to tag just one toy, one Christmas present from my childhood. But I will say that probably one of the most influential and ones that I was most proud of and that survived up until just a few years ago was my telescope.
Rich is back.
What kind was it? A Tasco or what kind of telescope?
I think it was a Tasco. Yeah, it was just it was a standard refractor telescope, but it also had a solar projector attachment that you could use on it. And I started.
I think I saw this in a James Bond movie.
I started following solar activity back when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, as a result of having that attachment. And I watched a partial solar eclipse with it, and I kept a journal for a while of where the sunspots were, and sketched them out and everything. So people are like, well, she's just been doing this since she was in graduate school. No, I've been keeping up with solar activity since I was a kid. So, but yeah, I finally.
What about you, Rich? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. A few years ago, a gust of wind blew it over and broke it. So.
Lindsay put mine on the front porch. I don't know why. Maybe she wants to look at the neighbors. It's the only thing that doesn't move constantly while you're trying to focus. I don't know. I've used it a few times. I've actually tried to figure out how to before cell phones. I actually tried to figure out how to hook up a camera to it, the one that would do movies. So it's kind of not that old. And but I never had the motor that would let it track. So I had to move
Hmm.
it by hand. Everything just kind of jerked around and in and out of focus. And I've got one video up on YouTube that it's got a little piece of music I wrote to go with it, and um, it's a horrible video. It's only got the moon in focus maybe 30 seconds out of 6 minutes of footage, but it was fun to try and do. But
Be right back.
and what I did have it back. I did have it back here in the office and set it up to look through the window and watch the neighbor across the street watch their house being built. Um, Not that I learned anything new about carpentry, because basically I had an education long ago on that. But um, I was amazed at how fast the house got put together. But now it's sitting out on the front porch, and I'm going, why? I had it in a safe place behind the door of my office. Nobody could knock it over and break it. Now I bump into it every time I bring groceries in the house.
Well, I'll tell you the one I wished I still had that I had when I was a kid. I have a repop of it now. Do you remember Captain Action from the 60s?
Yes.
I sure do.
Ideal.
Yep.
And so you could get Captain Action, which he just looked. Oh, let me take it off.
It was kind of a generic doll, and he had costumes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
costumes and the face mask and everything, and you can get them to look like the Phantom
Or
And-
Batman, or Superman, or yes,
Or a
I
bunch
had
of
one.
other people. Yeah.
Yes,
there was a whole.
I actually collected the comic books
Yeah,
at the time.
same here. I still have a couple of them. The one that was it the first one that Superman was in with Captain Action and Action Boy?
didn't remember
I
now.
don't know. You'd have to Google that one, and
Yeah,
Be right back.
I have it, but I don't remember which one that was. But the one that I had that I loved when I was a kid that I still have is Mego Mr. Spock on the card, and still has his tricorder and phaser and all this stuff on there.
because you never took it out of the box and played with it. What? Weren't you a real kid?
Oh yes, I did. but I kept it. And I also had the tricorders, walkie-talkie or communicator walkie-talkies. And the bridge I never had, but I had the communicators
We had
and
the
that. But yeah, I kept. This is from 1974.
Somewhere
So-
back here behind me, I've got the paper doll version of the communicator, tricorder, and whatnot. I've never actually constructed it, because not that I was saving it for collector value or anything, but I go, oh, but it's so pretty, I don't want to ruin it.
We had the
Yeah.
my brother had the walkie-talkies, and we had the phasers that were the flashlights, and you could put the little disc inside, and each disc had a different starship. You had the Enterprise, a Klingon warship, and a Romulan warbird, and you could project silhouettes of them.
Oh,
on the wall and stuff.
Mhm.
I had the one that was a miniature frisbee launcher. Basically, the little discs just got spring popped out the end like a little rubber suction dart, but these were not rubber suction darts. These were just little
I
plastic
never
discs.
got. They used to have the tricorder cassette player.
Oh,
My friend had that.
We never got that, and I was like, now that I think about it, that would have been the coolest.
It came with a cassette tape, and I'm thinking on one side of it, it had the audio for, I think, either The Trouble with Tribble or the Galileo 7, one of those episodes, just a half hour's worth of it. The other side of the cassette was blank to where you could record your adventures on there. And my friend had it, and he accidentally recorded on the wrong side and erased the half-hour version of whatever episode it was.
That's why you only you
That's why you have tape.
pop the tab out on the permanent side and leave the tab in on the side you want to record over again. Yes, I know all about cassettes. I'm old. I know about reel-to-reel. I know about wire recorders.
I think cassettes are about to make a comeback.
Well, vinyl did. The problem
I keep seeing new record players and stuff, and which have the Bluetooth and the CDs, but they're dual cassettes. They're bringing it back with dual cassettes, and they make the assertive effort by saying you can record on these cassettes. It had the record functions with them.
Oh, how innovative.
Sorry I stepped out for a couple minutes there, guys. Freeform is playing The Grinch, the version with Benedict Cumberbatch voicing the Grinch. And they had gotten to my favorite scene, which is where the Grinch is stealing the sleigh off of the roof of Bricklebaum's house. And I just had to, because it's like a train wreck happening, and I had to stop and watch it.
Understood. I can still see. I can still hear. Rolf Thurlston. Damn, that's a complicated name.
Thurl. What was his name? Thurl Ravenswood. Thurl.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. Hang on a minute. I get the name.
I'm not sure anymore now. I thought I knew it. The guy with the really deep voice. That's the one.
He also voiced Tony the Tiger on the commercial.
Yes.
He's great. And he did. He actually sang the song "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch."
Yeah.
In the original 1966 cartoon.
Yep. That's the one ever.
Thurl
Ravenscroft.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ravenscroft, yeah.
He's also one of the voices in the Haunted Mansion attraction at Disney World. Because I recognize the voice. The music was composed by Albert Haig and performed by Thurl Ravenscroft. Soundtrack
Somebody agreed.
won the Grammy Award for Best Album for Children at the 10th Annual Grammy Awards.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart.
No, you're not.
I'm Patrick Stewart.
I do not care for the Jim Carrey version. I don't.
A little creepy.
It's got its moments, but they're very few and far between.
Yeah, yes. I do like the original. and I do like this version with Cumberbatch voicing the Grinch. There's something about, I think, the Whoville in that version. There's something about it that takes me back to my childhood. If I could visit that version of Whoville, I would.
Hmm. It's like I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed the Robin Williams Popeye movie
Hmm.
because I had seen the original black and white cartoons and had read some of the original newspaper comic strips.
Mhm.
So I knew Thimble Theater was what was going on, but a lot of people only encountered Popeye when it was the sanitized, colorized version that basically, eh, I think that expresses it very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the Max Fleischer Popeyes were the best.
oh
That's for
yeah,
sure.
especially the ones that were done in black and white, and they were so surreal. I mean,
Mhm.
good lord. Um, no wonder somebody invented LSD. They were trying to get back to a Popeye cartoon.
And not to keep plugging my Everyday is Saturday Facebook group, but I will. I often have those Max Fleischer Popeyes on my late night black and white cartoon that I do later in the evenings, along Bimbo and Betty Boop and Bosco and
Oh yeah,
Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and a bunch of them that you normally just don't see anymore.
yeah. Betty
And
Boop were
I'm
also
reading this
pretty surreal
on
sometimes.
the copyright on here for this Mego Star. Okay, it says 1974 Paramount Pictures Corporation, which I knew that, manufactured exclusively for Mego Corporation, New York, New York, in the British colony of Hong Kong. I've never heard Hong Kong referred to as the British colony of Hong Kong.
That goes back a
That's
few
going back
years.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it says it on the back too.
yeah. When China decided that it was time to go ahead and take over Hong Kong, I was going, you know, the world would be a better place if that deal gone the other way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's as close to political as I'm going to get, folks. Make of it what you will. Blame me, not the channel. Arr! Oh, and one of the other toys that I remember from back in the day that I really, really enjoyed turned out to have a connection to one of my favorite science fiction writers, two of my favorite science fiction writers. I had the Leif Erikson alien spacecraft model. I believe it was from AMT. I had the glow in the dark version, but I painted it so only different certain portions of it glowed in the dark. But there was one before that that did not glow in the dark, and it turns out that the original model of that somebody had built one and showed it to Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell, and they go, "That's a great design. That's what we're going to use for the MacArthur and the Mote in God's Eye." And they wrote the entire everything having to do with the MacArthur, everything having to do with that spaceship around the design of that model.
Hmm.
It was amazing when I found that out. I mean, it was one of those little trivial points that uh, absolutely made my day when I had read the novel and had joined the fandom and found that out. And then there was one year I was in a sculpture class for I was going to college as an art major. And lady came in and she had made a fully reflective mirror, about a 2-inch thick frame with one of those one-way mirrors, but the reflection was going in, so you could see from the outside, you could see the reflections inside, and had little Christmas tree lights along the inside of the frame. I do believe it was either hexagonal or octagonal. Turn on the lights, and it was like an infinity tunnel.
Yeah, infinity mirrors, quite popular for a while.
Well, she did one of those before anybody was selling them. So hope she made some money off of it. But if she didn't, somebody stole her design. And I decided for my little model of MacArthur, or Leif Erikson, if you want to use the name that was actually given to the model, that was the way the engines were going to work. I wanted to build one of those infinity mirrors in each of the engine nacelles, but they were too small. And light it up, you see infinity in there, the damn thing goes through basically a warp jump, wormhole tunnel, whatever technology floats your boat. I mean, we write fiction here sometimes, folks. We it's like a salad bar. We'll take a bit of this and a bit of that, and leave behind the stuff that we don't enjoy. I thought that would be a great effect. I wish I had been able to do it on such a miniature level, but never could. Probably could nowadays with LED lights, but they weren't.
You have something to do as soon as you retire now.
I've got a lot of stuff to do when I retire. Most of it's typing, Bill. I am not going to have time to build models.
Oh, come on. Get Lindsay to do the typing for you. Make her your secretary.
If you keep sending your stuff to Three Ravens, you might.
I keep sending it. It's going on 2 years. I haven't seen one come out. The last batch that I sent yet. I'm going. Isn't my turn coming up soon? You're doing such wonderful stuff. Anyway, there's 3 books there, Scott, and I am breathlessly waiting for that email going, hey, it's time. Check out this edit. Everybody's giving it a read and bleed. And you make the corrections, and it's in the pipeline. And I'm going, I want that so bad. I want that so bad. I want to inflict disposable man upon the world. And fly by wire. Oh God, fly by wire. Ooh, that's a big one. And it's already done.
I hate to do it, but I could only stay on here for a little while tonight. I'm going to have to sneak on out. So.
You don't have to sneak. You can stalk out proudly.
All right. I'll stalk out then. Y'all take it easy and have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
You too, darling.
You too, Stephanie.
Same to you.
Good night.
Thanks for coming in.
I enjoyed it. I've missed it. I've just been so busy. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
I've been sitting working on a listing for eBay while everybody was talking, so I know what busy's all about. Oh, I got another little show and tell. I will be right back.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, I fell down a rabbit hole of artist mannequins. So, and holders for them. Some of these are pretty damn spiffy.
I actually did a rework of that cover and made the illustration larger and tried to put a frame around it that didn't look stupid. I succeeded in making the illustration larger. So far, the frame still looks stupid. But I was working with Excel, so it was kind of limited. Didn't actually have one of my art programs at work, and I had some spare time, so I just kind of played. We shall see. There he is.
Everybody's super quiet.
It's because we heard
I thought we were having a moment of silence.
Nah. Just have a moment of, damn, Bill's putting his headphones back on. He must be about to come back in.
Moment of lucidity. So I got a couple things actually. You remember these by chance?
Oh yeah.
The little lenticular beetles, and these are the original ones from NEMS from 1964. Then I also, on the card still, they had them for every beetle, and this is John. This is a rather hard one to get a hold of. I used to actually have this. It's a pin. It's a guitar pin. My ex-wife used to call it a brooch, and I'm like, it's not a brooch, it's a festive pin. But
it's only a
anyway,
brooch if you wear it, honey.
Yeah, but I never had the card. The card is so cool, and it has their signatures and that on it, and which is also the original. But here's the coup de grace. And Nemco had the Beatles with the hair each. Now I don't have John. John's very hard to get a hold of. But here's Ringo, if I can get it to look. And he has his drum, and it has his signature on there. And it says, got the dates and on the back there.
That's pretty cool.
Let's see. There's
guys.
George with his signature is a little faded, and then I got Paul on there, and the lady, I got all these off of eBay. And the lady that I got Paul off of bought this originally in 1964 when she was a teenager. And when she sent it to me, I sent her a message saying, thank you very much. I've been a Beatles fan since 1970, basically. And I said, getting Paul on here, I said, I've seen this for many years. I've seen them all for many years. Actually, a guy that runs our record store, Greg Wilson, runs Co-op record, or not Co-op, I'm sorry. He used to run Co-op, Chart Records and Tapes, downtown Danville. He has all four and had them forever. And I tried to buy all four of them off of him, and of course he would never sell them. And it just, I sent this little message to this lady after I made an offer on this. She said, had a certain price or best offer, so I made a best offer, and she accepted it. And I was just told her, I said, you made a Beatle fan very happy. And she told me, one when I got the box that had Paul in there, she had a little handwritten note. And she said, I had this for over 50 years. And she said, I bought it when I was a teenager. And a big Beatles fan when I was a teenager. She said, I still am, but she said it was hard to part with it. She goes, but I know that she needed to do it for reasons I won't say on here. But she said, now I know it's going to a good home. Somebody, and even though I'm a reseller, I'm not going to sell these. These are my personal collection, and they're going to go in the display cabinet in the living room with my other Beatles stuff. But and someday, unless somebody out there in StreamYard land wants to buy me for Christmas a John Lennon with the guitar, someday I will get John Lennon to complete the collection. But I will tell you, Paul and Ringo was about the cheapest ones, and George, I was bidding on him on an auction, and I got him for a little bit under $100. John, you can't touch for a couple $100 on a buy it now. And I missed out on getting John on an auction because the guy went $172, and I just couldn't justify that after spending money that I did on Christmas presents and bills and everything else. I just you got to set your right. You got to set your limits and your cutoffs. So.
Yep. When I was reassembling my Tom Swift Jr. hardback collection, I was adamant I was going to get them as cheaply as possible, and all in the same cover format. The photographs or the paintings with the yellow spines, and because they came out in 3 or 4 different cover designs, and sometimes I had to get something with the cover I didn't want to get one that I did want. And then I got to the very last one, which is the worst written of the entire series. But I had the other 32. I had to have number 33 complete the set. It was outrageously priced. And they had it up for auction, but they also had to buy it now. And I'm going, this is the only copy I have ever seen in my life. Not very many of them were printed. Not very many of those were sold. A lot of them got shipped back to the publisher as unsold and shredded. So I go, click, buy it now. I figure I'm only going to do it once. So I did. Now I've got the whole set. And I have gone back. I have reread every single one of them in order, reliving my childhood. I only had like 20 of them as a kid.
20 childhoods?
If you count the ones I'm going through now, yeah. But
21st now.
I'm due for some extras now. I'm getting old. But now I've got all. Well,
that's like the Dr. Seuss books.
The continuity was kind of weird. It held together. It held together better than classic Star Trek continuity. It held together better than Star Wars continuity. And much better than Doctor Who continuity. Believe me. How many times do you have to rewrite the destruction of Atlantis? Doctor Who as 3 different ways Atlantis was destroyed
2 per season.
with 3 different cultures. Okay, I get it's a TV show and nobody bothers to
It's
read the old scripts,
yeah.
but you know, to a fan, something like that would matter.
So
And then again,
how many Tom Swift Jr. books are there?
there are 33 of the juniors.
33. Okay.
I managed to get the complete set of the Tom Swift seniors as ebooks. I had the complete set of what I call Tom Swift the Third. It was a updated and modernized thing that it mentioned some of the stuff from the Classic 2 series, but it was more Power Rangers than it was Tom Swift. So I didn't enjoy it that much, but I was a completist, so I went ahead and got them. And then I got divorced, and a bunch of stuff disappeared from my bookshelves. I used to have about half of the 3 Investigators series that was sold under the Alfred Hitchcock brand. I know Hitchcock didn't write them, but they were kind of in there. He was name dropped, and I had found a couple of the not Star Rangers. What do they call them? Dig Allen Space Explorer. I think I've got 3 of the 4 of those now. Got a few things like I had something that my dad used to read. It was and there's actually an old movie serial from the same comic strip, Smilin' Jack.
Oh yeah.
And I found one of those. It was the same thing that my dad had as a little big book when he was about 8 or 10. But this was a hardback from Whitman Books. Didn't have all of the illustrations, but it had quite a few that were straight from the little big book. And I got that. The cover was in great shape. The pages were still sewn in quite well. Gave it to him for Christmas one year, and he just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Another one that he had that I finally got a sequel to was a Whitman version from, let's see, I believe, yeah, Red Rider.
Oh yeah. Red Rider and Little Beaver.
Yep. And Dad had the one about the werewolves. Wolf. I don't know if it was Wolf Valley or Wolf Mystery or whatever, but there was. I found a second one, totally different thing. Gave that to him too. And then
werewolves.
I have 3 Red Rider hardback antique books, and I'll tell you, the stories in them are just as good as a Zane Grey or Lone Ranger.
Very well written. Very well
I
written.
can't remember the author's name, but I enjoyed them, and I still have them in my lawyer's bookcase in the living room.
I've got stuff stacked in front of me where I'd pull out the 2 that I've got now. But I'm glad to know there's a third. I might look for that. I will have to forensically excavate the 2 that I've got to get the titles of the ones, because I don't remember exactly what they were. But if there's a third one, I would love to have that. But they're Westerns aren't my thing, but these are very, very good. Very, for children's books, very adult, basically. I mean, there were consequences to bullets being fired. This is not something you run into in children's books that often. I think Silas Marner is the only thing that I've found that's still on that level, and that was basically not only coming of age, but exploring old age, and now a crusty old man can adopt a child and to dive back into the season, have his heart grow three sizes as he raised the child. That oh boy, I went off on a tangent there, didn't I?
See. Well, you were probably looking at John's picture in his background when you said heart grows 3 sizes, thinking about the Grinch.
Nope. Wasn't looking at John's picture at all. I was looking on the inside of my eyeballs, where I was replaying my memory of my childhood, basically trying to figure out good analyses for literary references for the tens of thousands of books that I've read. Oh Lord.
Well, if I think of it, I will go in there.
Go ahead and send me
and
the
pull
three
out
titles.
I'll pull out those books and see. Now, I don't have first editions and that. I have one that's wonderful, but first editions are expensive. I'll look for, well, speaking of Grinch, we were looking at Dr. Seuss books a few weeks ago at the auction, and these looked really decent, and they looked like an older version. And we thought, okay, we may bid on this. And I opened up and look inside, and it's a Scholastic book edition, which a lot of times the Scholastic book editions can look like the original first editions of the children's books. And so you have to be very careful. And of course, it's easy enough to find out. You just got to open the book. But and Scholastic book editions of any of those aren't worth anything.
I happen to know for a fact that my mother has about 15 or 20 of Seuss's books that were bought brand new when they came out, because that's one of the ways that my sister and I and my little brother 6 years later learned how to read. And I don't know if she still got them or if she gave them to my niece when she was a baby. That would make sense, but Mom may still have them on the bookshelves in the house, along with Collier's Encyclopedia that I wish I had, and the Myths and Legends of the World, also from Collier's from the same time period, back probably before I was born, so probably 55, 56. And there was, oh man, I got to read original Grimm's fairy tales before anybody thought to clean them up for children. And lots and lots of several different writers for King Arthur. Not only the most famous one, but several of the things that were kind of blended in later.
You mean back when the Grimm's fairy tales were the way they were originally intended to be presented to children, to scare the hell out of them so they actually behaved?
That'll be the day. Children behave.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Lesson
Back
to be
when they were
learned.
cautionary tales, yeah.
Yes. I'm going down.
Well,
the
if
hall,
your
I'll be
mom
right
had
back.
those
I'm still going to
okay.
be able to hear you. I'm still going to be able to hear you.
Here? Okay. That's what I was about to ask. I was just going to say, if your mom had a lot of those Dr. Seuss books, the original editions of them, if she has any of the ones that the cancel culture had done away with here recently, those would be fairly valuable today. And that's what a lot of people are looking for, myself and Laura included, and that they're bringing some bucks because, people are just like anything else. When you take something away, and nobody's really paid a whole lot of attention to it before, well, now that you're taking it away, I want one. Know, it's kind of the mentality with it all, but yeah, there's a number of them that are quite a bit more valuable today because of that. And I'm trying to read. The Seven Lady Godivas. Okay, yeah. And that was one that Ted Geisel did as an adult book, Donna? Or at least that's why I'm reading it on her comment, at least, if that's the one she meant. But John, we never got to you on your favorite Christmas toy, but I somehow think because of your career and your interests that it very well might have something to do with G.I. Joes or cap guns or toy tanks or
Little Johnny Human Torch.
I had a lot of good, like, of course, the Plastic Army Men were always one of my favorites when I was a kid. My mom got me. Do you remember the Guns of Navarone play set?
Mm-hmm.
Came with the American GIs and the Germans. Germans were gray and American GIs were green. And the big plastic mountain that had 5 levels to it. So that was one of my favorites. We had that. I had that for a long time. Finally broke it.
I was
Mark's had
about your earlier
a ton of them like that. Whether it be,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Rich.
I was actually thinking about you earlier. I fell down a rabbit hole looking at these Lego pieces, and I saw a lot of some really nice Lego tank sets. And I'm like, I bet John would love these.
I was hearing on WVBM radio yesterday, I think it was, they were talking about adults buying more Legos now than kids are because they're getting into the high-end collecting. Well, yeah, not anymore, and it doesn't leave anything to the imagination with Legos anymore. You buy it and it makes one thing and one thing only. It makes a dragon or a Viking or a spaceship or whatever, and that's it, buddy.
Yeah, when I was a kid, they used to have the Universal building sets.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first ones I remember getting was the 113 Universal building set, and then we got the 404 Universal building set. That's the one that came with the little electric motor and the remote where you could. They called it a remote, but all it did was provide power forward or power back, so you couldn't turn it or anything like that. That was fun because it came with tank treads and different sized tires and stuff like that. We were always building stuff with it. And once our air conditioner went out,
robotic kit.
Yes, our air conditioner went out one summer, and I built a 24-inch fan for my bedroom out of Legos and used that electric motor, hooked it up to a train transformer instead of running it off the battery box. And I could adjust the speed of the electric fan I built with the train transformer controller. And only thing is, to make it run right, I had the motor down near the base and used the tank treads as it was chain driven. So you turn it on, and the only problem was those tank treads were noisy as hell. So turn it on, and you're through the whole house, and but it's kind of funny. We were all sitting there playing Legos in the bedroom, and everybody comes walking in and goes, "What is that?" And there's this big electric fan going.
Oh, one of the kids.
Rector sets was like that too.
One of the kids in the neighborhood I grew up in was the envy of every other kid in the neighborhood because he had a radio controlled tank, basically, back when RC was really, really new for kids' toys. And it was huge, about the size of a footstool. And he'd irritate his parents by
I think I know which one you're
running
talking
it up
about.
and down the hallway and turning it around in the living room and back to the bedroom. And
Because you could put, if it's the one I'm thinking about, I think it was a G.I. Joe toy. I'm not sure if it was actual G.I. Joe or one of the shoot-offs, but you could actually put the full-size G.I. Joe figures.
the 12-inch, yeah, that would have been the right scale for this thing.
But I don't think it was actually a G.I. Joe. Well, who did G.I. Joe, Bill?
Hasbro.
Was it Hasbro?
Yep.
I don't think it was an actual Hasbro toy. It was just that scale.
Mm.
They had one up. It was Armies of the World was real popular back in the 90s. It was a G.I. Joe knockoff.
Yeah. Which they did a lot. Now they had like German and Japanese G.I. Joes and stuff. It was very rare. And they had a GI nurse back in the 60s, like 1967, 68. It was a.
Now, wait a minute. When you say GI nurse, is that like general infantry or gastrointestinal? One of them gives your other GI Joes a colonoscopy. Okay.
Whatever floats your boat, John.
It was a Vietnam era.
You were the one that brought it
GI
up.
nurse. Yeah.
Oh, here you go. I've got one that'll make John a little bit jealous. I actually had several of the original 12-inch GI Joes, and one year my parents bought me the Sea Sled set. Basically, it was straight out of Jacques Cousteau. Yellow and black. If you put a couple of aspirin in the little tanks on the side, you could open the valves and have it submerge. The aspirin would dissolve and make a little bit of, I guess, carbon dioxide, and it would.
You sure it wasn't Alka-Seltzer?
It might have been.
Okay.
Well, no, it was little bitty tablets. Maybe it was a specially made size Alka-Seltzer, but they're about the size of a baby aspirin, and the damn thing would push the water out of the little water tanks on the side, and it would float. And then when the little pills wore off, it would go ahead and refill with water in the sink again. Had an electric motor on it. I mean, it wasn't radio controlled or anything, but if you had a swimming pool, you could turn the rudder a little bit and have it go around in circles. One of those things. And unfortunately, not long after I got it, we went to visit my grandmother, who had a coal burning stove as the only heat source in the house, and I left that and a set of um, three robots. Bill might remember what they were, but they were all basically metal tone, different themes, and they were about the size of well, just a little bit bigger than uh, the Matt Mason toys, but they were about on the
Oh,
same.
okay. So like a
Yeah, they were like half the
like a
size of a
tin
GI Joe.
litho.
I left them
Hmm.
too close to the furnace, and one of the robots kind of half melted, and one of the water tanks on the side of the sea sled half melted. So it looked like a banana on one side. Still worked, didn't have any extra holes in it, but looked kind of funky. And I don't know what happened to that as I grew up. I think it just got eventually got stuffed in a toy box and put in the basement or in the attic or something. If it's in the attic at mom and dad's, at mom's,
Okay.
it's
Chris was
probably
asking.
melted into a puddle by now.
Chris was asking something down here. I don't know if
Oh,
it's, did
yeah,
Joe
Joe had a migraine. He was getting a migraine, so he stepped out. So, well, I mean, I don't know what he's got to take for it, but for me, the only thing that works with my migraines is a washcloth with ice cubes in it in a dark room, and just kind of lay there and moan until the pain goes away. Of course, your mileage may vary. Other people, their body is different than mine and may react differently to different stimuli. So, if a warm compress is what works, that's fine for me. It was a cold compress and dark room and no sound. No sound. I could hear TVs in Mississippi. Seriously, it's worse than having a hangover. You know how you can hear snails crawl and it sounds like a marching band on 4th of July when you got a hangover? Okay, maybe nobody else has had that experience in their early 20s, but I was an adventurous lad.
Guys, I don't mean to alarm anybody, but right now someone has stolen our temperature. We no longer have a temperature here in Oakwood. I'm thinking about dialing 911 to report it stolen, and I hope to God we get it back soon because it's just too damn cold out there right now, and the wind is really horrible.
Oh, please.
We got and it's so cold. I don't know if you can tell or not because of the glare. It's actually snowing in my phone. But yeah, we got.
Quick, Bill, put your phone in the microwave for about 6 minutes on high and warm it up.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got 22 mile an hour winds. Let's see. Oh, now we went to -2, and the feel-like temperature is -27. I gotta stop looking at this. I'm depressing myself here.
I will cheer you up. There's a couple of guys that used to do the narrowboat videos over in England, and they sold the boat and bought a little farmstead in Scotland, I do believe. Yes. And they got up the other morning, and it was -40 in their front yard. -40 is one of those coincidental temperatures where it is the only place where Fahrenheit and centigrade shake hands. If it's minus 40 in one, it's minus 40 in the other. That's the crossover point.
Right.
And they've got dogs, and they've got chickens, and they've got bees that they have been trying to make sure did not freeze. And I'm going, that would have been a popsicle at 60, much less minus 40. Heavens to Betsy.
Well,
We when I was in Berlin and it got down that cold for that week right before I left, somebody wanted to try and do PT that morning. Not only was it snow and ice all over the ground, which is very dangerous for running PT, but you can't breathe in that kind of weather. I mean, you walk outside, your sinuses freeze just the first time you take a breath. And it's... We walked out, stood there for a minute in formation. He said, all right, we're doing PT inside today. Yep.
Yes, sir. Basketball? Long as it's not riflery. I imagine y'all had a range for that. Oh, Josh, I'm sorry. Power just went out there. 43-mile-an-hour wind gust. Ooh. Yep. Back when I was riding a motorcycle, I figured out the thing about wind gusts. You know why a lot of people don't drive motorcycles at 120 miles an hour?
Sanity?
Because your cape flaps in the breeze too much?
No, because you're hanging onto the handlebars and your feet are going back over the tire at anything over about 70. I mean, you look like a towel. Oh, Lord. Oh, Sarah.
Sarah's saying there's been 2 large fires in central Illinois tonight. I want to go over there so I can warm up.
Really? Are they selling tickets?
Well, I'll bring the marshmallows. I mean, come on.
Well, let's not get tasteless here. If they've had 2 large fires, that means
Right.
somebody's house is burning down. And
It doesn't involve a cow.
business.
Wait a minute. This doesn't involve a cow in Chicago, does it? I believe I've heard this story.
No.
I think that was a once in a lifetime thing, except that other time in London.
That cow done kicked the bucket.
That cow
Which started the fire.
Nick is pissed at me.
In Strawn and
There goes the
Girard.
salt truck down the road again.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know where either of those 2 places are. So
hey, Sarah said it, so you should know. Strawn and
no,
Girard.
I don't.
Okay.
I think she just made those names up. No, there's actually so many small communities in Illinois that you could live here for 50 years and still hear new communities. And I don't mean, communities of 400 or 500 people that live there, but I mean actually, 5,000-10,000 people.
Hey, and it could be my pronunciation too.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Or
just
her
'cause I
spelling.
know- No, her spelling I'm going to take for granted, but just because she can spell it don't mean I know how to say it. I mean, there's lots of things people can spell that I can't say. Witness European languages, Russian, Chinese. Yeah, they can spell it. I can't say it.
Oh,
Girard is near Springfield.
okay. Well, that's why I don't know.
We have a late entry here at just about checkout time. You've got 2 riches. Okay.
Interesting. My browser died on me, and I just came back in.
We have a still rich and a live action rich.
Salt and
One
pepper
is
shaker,
Two
Richards.
amazingly sexy men side by side.
One was the action figure, and Bill just
there's only
bought it
one.
off of eBay.
Oh yeah, because it's 5 till. You know, you forgot to do little things, so I'll do it with my little Beatles. And these are the ugliest things. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, how would you like to have that thing creep up on you in the middle of the night? That's worse than that one movie with the little doll that went stabbing the woman.
Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember the name.
And the woman was her last name was Black. I should know her name.
Karen Black.
Karen Black. Yes, she got quite famous for that little bit in that one episode. And was it a Twilight Zone or was it a movie of the week? I forget.
It wasn't a Twilight Zone, but it was a well, because it was called Trilogy of Terror. It was one of 3 short stories that ended up.
And I don't remember what the other 2 were, but that one everybody remembers.
Well, actually, Sven Gulli just recently had that on within the last month or 2. So I actually saw all 3 stories and still cannot tell you what the other 2 were about. That's how bad they were.
I don't know about bad.
and
It's just that the Karen Black segment was so outstandingly memorable.
Well, the thing is, Karen Black actually played 4 different roles throughout those 3 different stories.
Right. Yeah, she played
Oh wow!
like a older woman, and she had blonde hair in one, and yeah.
Well,
This week, if you want to watch Sven Gulli's Saturday Night, which I'm assuming that there's no stupid o'clock Saturday because it's Christmas Eve, but
ain't no telling. Bill, we
Yeah.
got like 45 seconds.
okay. Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man this Saturday night on Sven Gulli, 7 o'clock Central.
All right. That sounds good. It really does.
Yep.
Oh God. Joe does not have any of this organized.
What are you looking for, Dan?
I'm looking for the end of the show.
Should be right up there at the top.
There it is. Outro. Yep. Okay. Got it.
The show is over, people. The show is over. There you go. That's the end of the show.
He's got outro and new outro. Or something.
New
May have got
intro
rid of one.
November and outro is what I say. All right. Sorry, guys.
Are you an intro or an outro?
I gotta start the other show.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.